What is up, guys? We have another video today. I'm going to be continuing with the 2017 tournament that I'm participating in. I'm now in round three. My record is 1-1. I didn't talk too much about my round one because yesterday I kind of got hurried into the game. I ended up losing to Miloslav playing towards Garbodor. I think it was 59 out of 60. Um, and I simply lost. I think. I mean, he should have won game two, I think, as well. But the game pretty much came down to how EspeonGarb usually goes, where Vespiquen has to have kind of a hot-ish start to kind of keep up with what's going on there. Um, is so yeah. I'm just adding my opponent right now. Sorry about that. But the idea is that the game should. There we go. That's the request. And I think we should be underway. I sent him a challenge. So the idea of that matchup is that you kind of have to pop up a little bit. He didn't play Oricorio, so you kind of just have to set up and do what you want to do without getting Garb end into the late game. So thinning is actually very important properly. Playing less items in the early game against Garbodor decks is very important, and using Zoroark is really cool in the early game because if they have to use Lele, which they almost always have to do, they will have to bridge it, Lele, the drill. Um, so I am going first, so I don't need to bench anything else. So I'll start ahead and pass. I mean, well, we're going to do the pass thing real quick here. Um, again, like I said, there's no like good way to do 2017 without like uh, having everything. So a pass is like their solution. And I didn't see the typing of my opponent because I was busy just setting up the OBS on my left hand screen. So I guess we'll just pass, and then he passes it back to me. So on my turn, I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to retreat it. And I'm going to go ahead and pass. My hand sucks. Doing the unknown for one, putting myself at a 0 card opening with a Combi active means a Floatstone Lele one-shots me. And that's not really what I want to happen. So in this Garb matchup, it's not looking great for me. He does end me, which is really peculiar. But I guess if that's the only supporter he probably had, then he has to. Um, okay, we're living. He dropped 2 Garbs. So I'm going to go ahead and just do this. I'm going to... I think an Ultra Ball is fine here. I'm going to go ahead and Forest because I believe that's a fine play here. I'm going to go ahead and Ultra Ball away these guys and grab a second Zorua is what I really want to get here. I do verify everything is in the deck. 1 DCE is missing, so that's prized. That means 2 special charge. So Zoroark gets carried a little bit of early weight, so I actually think I don't want to do that. I think I'm going to go ahead and grab another Combi. I think I'm going to sacrifice this unknown. So that's probably what's going to end up happening. We're going to go ahead and do this. I get an evolution here. We have 1 item in there. I can go ahead and play an Acrobike. Choice Band is what I want to grab. This hand is not amazing by any means. I can attach and start using Hidden Power for 20 if I intend on retreating this DCE anyway. So if he's going to go ahead and Garbotoxin, more than likely, maybe that's the correct play. I think I'm going to go ahead and do that because I do have the special charge in hand. So rather than retreating, I think I just take my free 20 damage here. Had I hit the Zoroark, I might have held this for next turn because I can rush in. But if he does have the Garbodor here, the Garbotoxin, then I can't really do anything about that, you know? Yeah, that's like one of those situations where it's like I can't do anything if he Garbotoxins me. My hand is fine-ish. The only issue comes down to that I will have to probably play down items here. I'm down 2 items, but I will go down to 4 items into the discard, 4 plus, so I go to 6. And at that point, honestly speaking, the item count no longer matters, like for how many are in my discard. I want to keep it below 5 as much as possible. If I can keep it below 5, then Vespiquen is still an attacker. If I can keep it below 6, then Zork is an attacker because of resistance. But once both of those ships have sailed, then I have no longer any control of items or need to care. So it looks like it's EspeonGarb. Oh man, this hand is bad. Um, it looks like he's gonna go ahead and Energy Evolution and knock me out here, or maybe he has the Garb. Yeah. So I didn't expect that turn of events, to be completely honest. I had expected a different form of Garbodor deck here. That just means that I have to play a little more aggressively. My hand does not dictate anything good for myself. A teammates is kind of good here. So we'll go ahead and do this. We will go ahead and do this. I want to go ahead and use this before Garbodor hits the board. Um, I think I like the way my hand is. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm going to go ahead and teammates. I'm going to go ahead and grab Zorak, and I'm going to go ahead and grab DCE. I do have a follow-up supporter for the following turn, and I want to hold this in case in case this boy gets knocked out or anything, because then I have the special charge. The rest of my board I think is completely fine. I'm not doing as much as a Vespiquen should be doing early because I only have 4 Pokemon in the discard, but at this point in the game, I think I want to just try my best and not go super him and like damage the rest of my like prize trading, because this is a free 2 prizes that I should be getting. And barring another Lele being benched, he's already got 2 Garbodors up, so like I don't really know what I can do if he doesn't do something with that. So it looks like my opponent's just going super ham. In this matchup, actually something that people don't do in the 2017 format that did back then is bench the Lele. Because while benching the Lele does hurt him here, um, it's a situation where benching the Lele would mean that he has a free attack into me if he goes Lele attached to Psychic Energy. Because this turn, Cross Divide doesn't do anything. Psychic would knock me out, so he would have to like look for the Psychic. And I think that's a play that like in his mind is like a good play, but I would also be okay with because I can put him down to 4 and special charge my 2 energy back in. So I think the safer route would have been to Psybeam me, force me to burn the energy because I no longer have the Float Stone on the stand-in, and it's sitting in the active. He is toxining himself. This is also important to note that when the Espeon Garbodor player toxins themselves, they're playing a comp that may rely on Heavy Lele, which I think this guy is doing with 3 ends in the discard, that there will present a situation that I could simply just end him. I don't want to end him, but I feel like his hand is good if he did what he did. So I'm going to go ahead and do the retreat. I think I'm done caring about items. I think I need to actually take charge of the rest of the game now. So we're going to go ahead and end. Not the most ideal of situations, but I do get an N in. We're going to go ahead and start going ham a little bit because things don't matter as much. I don't play a blower, so that Garbotoxin is stuck in play. We have 5 here, 6, 7, 8, or 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect numbers, perfect math. Can I ask for more? A B Revenge for knockout. All in all, that end was really good for me. Garbodor does come back and return KO me. That's what I was looking for. I needed a follow-up supporter and a DCE. So I'm big chillin' here, I think. The trade is going to start. And right as of right now, he is ahead on the trade. I am down both Forest, which is really unfortunate. I do have the Stretcher. So what ideally I want to do here is Revitalize the Combi back, bench the Combi, attach the Vespiquen, Sycamore the rest of my hand away, and then go from there. Granted, I cannot one-shot anything currently because of his bench from Zoroark, I'm saying. And I only have 5 Pokemon in the discard, which is pretty measly. I do add another 3 from my hand. So it's not like I'm in a overall better position yet. But he is setting up the Espeon once again, it looks like. Either going for the Crush Division or going for the other plays. One sec, texting my mom back. Doing video for YouTube. Okay. My mother is gracious enough to let me know when dinner is. So actually a top deck of Lysander would be really good here, or a Vespiquen. An Acro, so we're going to go ahead and use that. Special charge, I'm keeping that for sure. Pitching another Pokemon, also really good. So we're going to put the one energy back. No reason not to. So now this is where we start counting what's going on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 are going to hit the discard. So we're fine pulling the Combi back. Because I think I'd rather have the stretcher um, for the later part of the game. Vespiquen is now going to become probably my attacker for the rest of the game. And also important to note, I only have 3 DCE left. So all 4 of my DCE are going to have to count. This is really unfortunate, what I just drew. I'm going to go ahead and bench the Mewtwo. The Mewtwo is in here for the matchup because Psychic, 20 plus 20, so I go to 60, and then the Choice Band will put it to 180. So if I can poke the EV or something earlier enough, it'll do... Oh, well, sorry, if he Psychics into me, 20 plus 20, 20 plus 3, so 80, times 2, 160, plus Choice Band, 190 would be the knockout with the Mewtwo. So that's the reason it's in the deck, but I do have both Choice Bands in the discard. So I think I have to use the Mewtwo as a pseudo attacker at some point in the matchup, because I think next turn will either have to be an N or a teammates out of me, because I'll be completely honest, this hand does not look good for me. Especially if my end game I do have to one shot the Espeon to probably close out this game, right? Like I probably have to one shot the Espeon to close out the game. And I don't know how I end up doing that with the cards in my hand. But I do have him thinking. It's not open deck list, so he doesn't. If you watch my last video, he probably knows what's going on. But I think he's probably wondering, does he play another Choice Band? Can he teammates for the exact combination of cards to one-shot me? And so he goes ahead and goes into the Garbodor once again, forcing me to expend another Vespiquen, it looks like, which I think I'm okay with doing. I can teammates grab the Vespiquen. Okay, so I top deck the Vespiquen. In this situation, I actually want to make a different play. I'm going to go ahead and attach to the Mewtwo. I'm going to go ahead and retreat to the Mewtwo. I'm going to go ahead and Lysander the Eevee, which I think is the only real threat for me. And I'm going to go ahead and Psychic it. At this point, now we're playing a 1-for-1 trade game. And in the off chance that he doesn't kill my Vespiquen this turn, what I can end up doing is VS Seekering for the teammates for next turn. Using the teammates to grab a Combi Stretcher, bench the Combi. So I would probably use the Stretcher on the same turn to just get the one Vespiquen back, therefore making it an out with an Ultra Ball in my deck, as opposed to Stretcher being my only out in the deck, and then play the prize trade here. If he doesn't do that, then I'm in a little bit of a trouble. If he kills my Vespiquen this turn, because I don't know how I can take a knockout on his board, because I'm only hitting this Garbodor for 80. I'm hitting this one for 40. This one just evolved up again. So if he benches EV Energy, then maybe that's a knockout for me. But at the same time, I don't know. The decks usually play 6 Psychic, maybe 7 Psychic and DCEs. So I don't really know what's going on with his hand. I can't do much about his giant hand size. I have to assume there's going to be an N coming up and putting me to 1. Like, I have to, like, you have to assume, like, an N to 1 is, like, coming, right? Like, I think that's the only, like, logical train of thought here. So I do top deck this, giving me an out to another card that I can get off the teammates. Like whatever I want here, I can grab. So teammates, maybe a Lysander there was also just a better play because I got the Ultra Ball. So then I just grab the Garbodor and kill it because he didn't Toxin, right? So we can do this, and we can go ahead and do this. We're going to do these 2 plays. I'm going down to 1, so I think Ultra Balling and just thinning my deck to get 1 more card out and just putting it on my bench or something is fine. So let's go ahead and bench the Combi. Let's go ahead and Ultra Ball these 2 away. Let's go ahead and grab... It doesn't matter what I grab here. I just don't need to bench a GX this turn because I lose if I do that, I think. The deck is chock full of outs. There is a lot of dead cards, however, also. So I think we're just going to grab a card to bench. We're going to keep him assuming that there's a blower in the deck. We're going to Stretcher, put a Pokemon from the discard into my hand. We're going to go ahead and grab the Vespiquen, making it an Ultra Ball out. I am getting N to 1, keep in mind if this happens. And I'm going to be a wrench. Now he's down 3N and no VS Seeker. So the question is, does he play VS Seeker? And another VS Seeker out? That's really good. Because that means there's now 3 outs in my deck that are all teammates. So a teammates does just win me the game outright, like on the spot. So I've put myself in a position where I have 3 cards that just outright win me the game, and then I have Out of my 13 cards, I have 3 cards that win me the game and a Juniper. So I have 4 of my 13 cards as outs to kind of win the game. I get to see 2. Um, Now that's not great. Don't get me wrong, but an Oricorio. That's not something I wanted to play around. I'm gonna go ahead and mute my opponent. Um, that's not something I expected him to be playing. Um, it is what it is. So you know, can't do much about that. The Oricorio is not a card that I played around this game, and I think that's completely okay in a game 1 scenario. Um, is he going to go ahead and do it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Yeah, he has it. I'm going to make him do it. It's fine. So the Oricorio is a card that I didn't know he had. Maybe I could have ended the last turn instead of teammatesing. But I think teammates is the best play there to solidify my own game plan and not end myself into a low position to potentially lose the game. So my opponent having the Oricorio is a little bit unfortunate for me, but it's not something I can really avoid. Um, yeah, and now let's go into the game 2 to see if I can rally this one back. Oricorio is like not a end all be all for me. It's just that my opening hands were a little bit unfortunate to the point where I burned both forests. I didn't have a blazing enough start. He didn't play into uh, my Zoroark, which was a little bit unfortunate. Uh, so, this is a situation where I have to kind of play it a little bit carefully and see what I can do. Zoroark opening is good. Not having anything to really discard either is pretty good here. So I think, given my board state, what I want to do is probably just attach or bench, and then just Sycamore this hand away. Um, Knowing that Oricorio is coming means that I just have to end him a turn earlier, or like kind of not get to 13, which is a little bit difficult to do considering Espeon exists. Um, Also, top decking choice band, like having one of my 2 choice bands is not great. Um, so I have to pass. He passes back to me, and then I get to play my turn. Um, okay, so let's do this. Let's start with the Ultra Ball or Acrobike. DC to hand. Let's go ahead and Ultra Ball the Lele and the Lysander. I'm gonna go ahead and grab the Mewtwo. Um, the other choice band is in the deck, and everything is as it should be. So we're gonna go ahead and just do this right now. Pose the threat. I'm not attacking this turn. I can't attack. It's my first turn. But by doing this, I've already put a threat onto the board, and I'm saying like, come at me. And a DC does hit the discard here, which is not great. But I'm at 3 items. That's fine. We'll do this, and we'll go ahead and pass the turn. So by doing this, I've established Combi as an attacker and a Zorua as an attacker. And I've also put my Mewtwo on the bench in case he decides to go for any Espeon plays to already say, hey, you're going to try to come in with Espeon. If you go for a cross division play in 2 turns, or if you go for a psychic play in 2 turns, then I can come back and actually answer you. Is what I was trying to say here. But if he just goes to the top of the hit, then I can kind of find the float stone or something. I don't know. Maybe I just ignore items completely because he puts them to it. If he's good, oh, he goes double Lele. Like, um, this feels like I should just go aggro and like rush him down. Uh, an N, interesting. He's got a blower. That's one of my choice bands. That's really unfortunate. Um, 4 items, so it's still not the danger zone, but not the good zone. This hand means that probably danger zone time. Let's go ahead and unknown before we do anything, because I want to see what we get. Ultra Ball. That means let's just go. It's go time, I think. I think it's just go time. Let's go ahead and Ultra Ball these 2 away. In case I want to make a different decision. I'm just doing it in this manner to kind of see what's going on in my deck. I mean, I could go down to 1, Shaman up. discard. I think that's probably fine also, actually. So let's do this way. Probably grab a card I don't want in the deck then. So let's get this. Ultra Ball, this, and this. Put Pokemon into this card. Grab Shaman. We're going to draw some cards. We're going to start going a little bit ham. I know he plays Oricorio, so I can't give him the respect I would normally otherwise give the matchup. Um, we'll do this. We'll do this. We'll go Floatstone active. That's super, super good already. And we'll Juniper. That's going to go there. This goes bye-bye. Retreats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think preserving the DC is way more important. So we're going to go ahead and 6 means he can't do any shenanigans. So we'll retreat. We'll Sky Return. Move this off the board. And promote a Vespiquen. So even if he attaches another DCE or an energy, he actually can't one-shot me. The 30 versus 80 damage didn't really matter in my opinion because I'm going to kind of go ham enough to go just do stuff next turn. It looks like he's going to go use this Oricorio right now and end me, which is fine. He gets a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I mean, he just kills a Zoroark here, I think. And then he's happy about that, I guess. Did I make sure I muted him again? Let's do that. I'm fine with you guys playing me and that kind of stuff. Just don't think I'm like I just don't like being BM'd in the middle of a game. So that's just my like personal stance on things. He has one Trubbish down. He's just taking a prize. I'm not really too sure what his game plan is, given the nature of my hand. I can kind of go ham bone if I would like to. So we'll start. Let's go ahead and do this. Do this. Don't want to stretch any of these guys back. I don't think so. I don't think the Zoroark matters a lot right now anymore. So I think I'm going to go ahead and Ultra Ball away these two. Grab myself another Big B. I'm going to hold the special charge because I do have... yeah, I'm going to hold it. I just want to not waste it for just one. So we'll go ahead and do this. I do have a VS Seeker for teammates, so I'm okay. We'll go ahead and do this. I'm going to use both because in this situation, if he goes ahead and Garbo Toxins me, I'd like to just have these cards out of my deck completely. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. That means that if he goes Oricorio again, my Shaman is dead. But I do want these two cards out of my hands, so I'm going to go ahead and VS Seeker. Teammates. Teammates for DCE and DCE, I think. Just a follow-up DCE is fine too. Guaranteeing an attack for next turn. I do have the N. Let's go ahead and do this. Take our prize. Now, important to know, a little bit of a scary thing that's happening right now is I only have 7 cards in deck. So what I have to start doing is trading. And if I start trading... Well, he's going to end me down low. That's fine. But the rest of my deck is kind of... I'm completely gassed out of resources. So if I have to hope he starts Garb trading with me. And if he starts Garb trading, I can maybe do some damage. Tails, that's fine. I don't want to play any cards from my hand. Everything is just here for the sake of being here. We'll just go ahead and be Revenge. Now, important to note, I do have one Lysander left. Oh no, I have one VS Seeker baby left in the whole deck. Or prize. I actually don't remember. That's on me as a player to remember what's going on there. But if it is in the deck, I can take my final 2 prizes on this Lele. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I'm doing 13. So if I can get one more Pokemon to the discard and hit a Lysander this upcoming turn, I can bring up his Lele and take a one-shot. Garbotoxin, Floatstone, VS Seeker, Sycamore more than likely. Oh, and again. I think my opponent should be Sycamoring. I guess he just doesn't have one of the discard. an EV. He understands I'm not going to go for the Zoroark play anymore this game. There's no way I can. Given the state of his board, though, maybe I should have gone for it. He's going to go for the Acid Spray once again. This time, if it hits, it'll actually be a little bit crippling. Okay, that's fine. I do have this guy on the bench, so I'm going to go ahead and just retreat into the Mewtwo. I'm going to go ahead and use Psychic. Take a knockout. So right now, the prizes that I'm taking are not super good. So my deck is getting saturated with bad cards. So these ends are actually becoming more and more powerful. Maybe on my last turn, what I should have done is play the Forest of Giant Plants to just have one extra card out there that is not a good card. So see, my opponent is end chaining. He's already down, I think, 3 via Seeker now. 2 of his ends. I think he does play 4 in that Garb deck, though. Garb decks do usually play 4, 3 to 4. This is fine. This is fine because I can now get rid of one more good card or bad card. Put the Forest down. There is the special charge in the deck. I have 1 DC left in the deck for realsies, so finding that'll be a little bit difficult. He's just sacrificing this. Now I can thin these cards out of the deck, which is good. This is pretty perfect. We're going to go here because he doesn't have energy attached onto that bad boy on the bench. So we're going to go ahead and special charge. Put these 2 cards back in. Retreat. And we're going to go ahead and be Revenge. An Acrobike is good. I think now we have 2 Acrobikes in the deck, which lets us dig a little bit deeper. I think the VS Seeker is probably prized, given the state of things. And I don't have any Sycamores left. So there's a very real chance that I could get NGarb stuck here. But on the bright side, he is completely out of attackers that he could possibly use right now. He doesn't have Energy Evolution, which is actually something very crippling to his setup. He's trying to just sacrifice this so he can do something, I guess, in the upcoming turns. I don't want to play any of these support cards. I do ideally want to find an energy to just put on the bench guy and kind of say, I have checkmate over 2 turns. So I think I'm going to go ahead and do that right now. I'm going to Acro. A VS Seeker is what I hit. And that does spell game, I believe. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. VS Seeker for Lysander. And we'll bring this guy up. Let me ask him first or second. Probably should unmute him. And we'll go ahead and knockout. My opponent does take the first. This game was a lot more convincing, but don't get me wrong. There was a lot of positions where I could have potentially lost the game because Garb plus N is actually so incredibly powerful. There is a lot of, like, that's why Garbodor plus N has been like a tournament winning combo. It's won a couple of NAICs. It's won Worlds. Like, the combination of cards, Garbotoxin and N, were just like too powerful together. Okay, I guess he didn't get my challenge. That's fine. So we're going into this game. A mistake my opponent also made is dropping that Oricorio incredibly early. So that means there's a lot less cards that kind of dig for it in his deck. So I have to opt to go second here. My opponent semi-realized at that game that he could actually attack with Lele as a viable attacker. I think he should realize that way early because I think Lele is a very good attacker in this matchup. Combe's at 40 HP. With just 1 DCE, you're already putting a threat onto my board. Everything in my deck attacks for a DCE, so that's at least 2 energies added to the board. Speaking of the devil, here he is. And if you attach a follow-up psychic energy, you can also do a lot of damage. Given the fact that I probably won't be one-shotting you anytime soon in this metagame, considering there's no Battle Compressor, Ultra Ball and Acrobark are my only real discards in addition to Sycamore, the Tapu Lele that is here, that's positioned here and postured here, means that what am I trying to say? That you can also use Tapu Cure GX. So if I slap a Lele, I slap an Espeon, you can retreat into a different Lele, heal both of them up, and if I don't one-shot that Lele, all of a sudden the game kind of ends. Okay, why are you emoting me? Okay, you forgot to draw pass. Let me ask admins what happens. Okay, time. This is an issue. Well, that's an unfortunate ending to the set, I guess. And I do end up winning because of the game loss. Um, that's weird, but I guess that's where we'll end the video. I was just gonna ask the admins what's gonna happen. I didn't actually read the rule set completely, but I guess drop pass is like a serious rule. I would have been fine with remaking. I don't think he would have been fine. I don't know. Like the way that game would have played out. I'm gonna just walk through how I would have played out the rest of that game for reference sake. But I think that given how the board was set up, I would have tried to get double Zorua down. Because he would go Bridget 1, 2, 3. He would have 4 things on the bench. That's 130 damage that I'm now doing. He more than likely attaches a DC or a basic energy to the active, so he can just pop me in the mouth. Um, so from that point onwards, I kind of set myself up to go Zora kill Garbodor, Zora kill Garbodor, get the Mewtwo hopefully, set that up on my bench, and then play from there. The EspeonGarb matchup is actually a unfavored matchup if they play Oricorio, but it is a very close one. I'm a little bit rusty on it, but in the 2017 era, I played against a lot of Garbodors, so players who like learned how to play the game differently. Like the game was just played completely differently in my opinion, and you just learned a lot of different things that you had to adapt to and kind of play around. Um, yeah, but that's the unfortunate ending. That does mean I do win. I go to 2-1. Uh, so yeah, I guess when tomorrow's game is up, I'll record that and let you guys know. So thank you for watching.